Welcome to the Pitmaster Podcast. We're barbecue competition competitors that aim to share information, advice, tips, and tall tales about our favorite pastime. Head over to thepitmasterpodcast.com for all things Pitmasters, or follow us on your favorite social media platform. And now, here are the hosts of the Pitmaster Podcast, the two-time grand champion, SCA World Champion finalist, and barbecue specialist of Smoke Ain't No Joke Barbecue, the Anthony Lujan, and the 24-time grand and reserve grand champion, reserve world grand champion, Windover High Roller champion, and the founder of Pitmaster Barbecue Supply Company stores in Utah, the old man himself from Big Johnson's Barbecue, Jesse Johnson.
This is Greg Rempe from the Barbecue Central Show, and you are listening to the Pitmasters Podcast, and they are doing it live.
We'll do it live.
That's right, Bill. I just said that. They're going to do it live.
We'll do it live.
Yes, live. They're going to do it live.
All right, Pitmasters, we are live on a Tuesday night. We're about 30 minutes behind schedule because we had a small scheduling conflict with our last guest, but we got him rescheduled for next month. But we decided to call in Brennon Nielson for an SCA World Championship check-in. I want to give Karen Cook Wright a shout out for being the SCA World Steak Champion.
Wow, congratulations.
She is Riley Wright's Steak Princess's mother. So this is
Wow.
awesome. It just really shows how it is a family event.
It's a family affair.
Exactly, but we're going to talk to Brennon a little bit about the new location that they moved to this year. We're going to ask about how many he's got ruined due to the wind, and then we're also going to just talk about the overall experience that he had as well.
Wasn't a swamp like last year, huh?
Nope, it was just a hurricane. If you noticed, if you watched the news or anything like that, all the way across Texas. We know how big Texas is, but there was one big ass wind gust that literally had a dust cloud that covered the entire state from north to south. It was
wow.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
But we'll talk to him about all that. But Jesse, you said that we have some schedule changes.
Get some upgrades. Some upgrades. So we scheduled our competition the first part of May for our KCBS, the North Ute Barbecue Championships. But Miles City just canceled in Montana. So we're going to be able to go back to our original date of June 20th and 21st for our North Ute Championship. So got that approved just today with the KCBS. I'm going to let all the competitors know, send out a new email, let everybody know. But that also affects one of the backyard events we had towards the end of May. So we're just going to kind of cancel that one out. And then I got a meeting on Friday to work on a new pro event towards the fall. So we'll be a full KCBS event at this huge parking lot. Well, it's not a parking lot. It is a parking lot. But we're going to have a bunch of hookups for the guys with the big redwood trailers, the great big 45-foot toy haulers. They'll be able to hook up and set up, and it's going to be, everybody will have lots of elbow room to play. And they're putting together prize money right now. So we'll be able to announce that in the next couple of weeks, what the prize money will be, and get a date.
Yeah. You know what I thought about, Jesse, while you're talking about that and trailer hookups and everything?
Yeah.
How badass would it be to have a competition? I don't know. We'd have to work with the state or something like that, but to have it at a campground almost, where people could just camp to stay over the night, like Jordanelle or something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, there used to be a competition at the base. Is the base of Jordanelle? No, base of Strawberry.
Oh,
there used to be a competition right down in their campground, and they had those great little cabins down there. So you could rent a cabin, or you could have a full hookup, and it was a great competition. I can't remember what it's called because you just threw that at me, but that was a fun one. Oh man, there's a place in northern Utah called Crystal Hot Springs.
Oh yeah,
You have the hot springs and all that stuff, but they have all these camping setups. The biggest problem is prize money. So somebody's going to come out of pocket for the prize money, and how does that benefit them? So that's the biggest thing is, we can have competitions all the time and just have it in parking lots all over the state of Utah, but you're not going to get the national teams coming around unless we got a good amount of prize money. So,
well, that's awesome. Yeah, we got to figure out how to do that. But you know what, Jesse, us barbecue guys are never happy with competition schedules. Just so you know, you're gonna have to go back and look at your schedule again. I hate to burst your bubble, but I was looking at the date. Your rescheduled date
But we did that a couple years ago.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
All right.
It's as
Okay.
none of the SCA guys, even old barbecue guys, come out to the comps anymore. So it doesn't matter.
All right. So
I can't remember the gentleman's name that runs Severe Sear. They had a great turnout anyway.
Yeah.
So
true. So yeah, I guess it's a split between SCA or barbecue. It's your call.
It's a different sport nowadays.
Different beast. I kind of agree with you on that.
People are they're either doing barbecue or doing SCA. They're not a lot of mixes right now, except when they're doing ribs at the SCAs. So
right. Well, cool. All right. Well, we got that scheduled. We got that figured out. Super simple there. But let's go talk to Brennon. Let's get a recap on everything. Brennon is a hardcore SCA guy, and I think he makes the drive every single year. He ain't bougie like me, taking the airplane and all that. So let's talk to him about all that.
We call it Thermapen 1, the first true 1-second cooking thermometer. Its unprecedented speed means Thermapen 1's responsiveness approaches the speed of thought. Because when you're plating the perfect menu or smoking the perfect side of barbecue, you don't have time to think about how your instant read thermometer is accurate to 0.5 degrees in 1 second or less, or how rugged and waterproof it is, or how big, elegant and bright the backlit display is. You'll just know it works, because our perfection powers your perfection. Seek perfection with Thermapen 1.
Hey, Brandon, what's up, man?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. So, are you the SCA type guy, or are you KCBS? Are you trying to do both?
I mean, my heart and soul's in SCA, but I definitely want to try and get out there and do a few more, lean more towards the backyard. I've been talking with Fidel, maybe teaming up and trying to hit a KCBS or whatnot. And
awesome. Yeah.
Apparently one of Jesse's last year, end of last year.
So there's going to be a couple, and apparently he has one coming up that he's trying to get locked down on this Friday. So we'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
Well, let's just get right into it. SCA World Championships moved from the cow town of Will Rogers Stadium to Texas Motor Speedway. How was the transition? Let's just talk about when you got there, set up, the whole process of that.
There was a lot of speculation leading up to it. A lot of people were wondering how the heck we were all going to fit in this area. And I don't think anybody had any idea how massive this place is. I mean,
wow.
I think we had steak cooks. I think there was around 304 or so that I seen had signed up, and which is down from the last 2 years. But easily you could have fit another 100 cook setups easily in the parking lot area. I think they had like over 150 RV lots that were all booked.
Jeez.
And so, I mean, this place definitely has the space. No more grass, no more mud. So it was all concrete that has very good drainage on it if it did rain. So
you're not cooking in a swamp like last year.
No, yeah, last year I was in mud for 3 days straight. I threw my shoes away at the end of the comp, and
that's so hard.
It was kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say it wasn't miserable, but it was just a kind of a negative cloud across the whole comp last year. You couldn't
It was miserable.
Socialize.
It was miserable. I saw the videos. It was miserable.
There just was no socializing last year, which, that's 90% of the fun of
it really is.
a world championship.
Big part of it
is going and seeing the people that you haven't seen, or meeting the new people. I met a dozen foreign guys this year from other countries that it was awesome to meet them. They're such great guys. And so a location, it has its pluses and minuses. I know a lot of people didn't like that awards was outside, and it was definitely cold on the second night of awards, really cold once that sun went down. it really turned off the heat. So,
Well,
but
what I've seen, I'm just going to be honest with you there on this, Brennan, is that it looked like there wasn't a lot of seating either. There's people so the stage was in one spot because it was in Victory Lane, and then there's a small flat area for people to sit down chairs, and then they had a mini bleacher style, about 3 stairs, and then a fence, and then everybody was out behind that fence as well. So,
and I mean they had 2 sets of bleachers that were on the side too, but nobody took advantage of sitting in them really. I mean, there was a few. Carrie Ann Sharp was up there with some of her friends the last night, but it was, you kind of had that fence in between. So but I think it still worked out good. You at least got to take your own chair, so it was comfy. If it wasn't, that's your fault.
Right. Let's talk about the wind. Let's talk about Friday. Was it Friday when the big windstorm kicked in?
It was Friday. So Friday, the schedule for the day was the ancillary semifinals and the rib semifinals. And I mean, it was 35 to 40 mile an hour gusts.
Ooh.
And I know
you'd have to rain in the swamp.
Yeah. I don't know what I don't know what I would have preferred at that point. It was very windy.
Well, let me guess.
Great canopies around us, there was it was pretty crazy. It ripped the top off of my canopy. Luckily, two of the corners held to where I could grab a hold of it and wad it up into a ball and put it on the next day. But
wow,
let me guess, that wind hit right about your first turn in, right?
It hit, the worst of probably right where he turn-ins.
Yeah, that's how it always goes down. Every single time. It doesn't matter. You might have the most beautiful weather, but as soon as turn-ins start to happen, it just takes a left turn. It's very interesting.
How did the Utah teams do?
We had some good representation, for ancillaries going into the semifinals. We had, I want to say there was 3 West Coast teams that made semifinals for ancillary. That would be Miriam Benson, James Perry out of Arizona, and Tyler Matuszewski out of Arizona. They all made it through on ancillaries. On ribs, Tyler Matuszewski made it through on the West Coast. So, and Jim Williams,
right,
from Utah, he made it through. Well,
nice.
It was funny because we're all there at awards, and all of a sudden we see Jim's dad walking up from the back, and he goes up and checks a ticket. We're like, "What's going on?" I guess Jim got sick right after turn-in. So he went back to the hotel, and his dad went to awards. His dad got on stage at World Championships, and
that's awesome. That is awesome, man. Hopefully he got better. Hopefully it was just something real quick.
Yeah, he felt better that next day.
Got it. Yeah.
But so that went through on Friday. There was a handful of us. I missed ribs by less than a point. I was 13th in my group.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's rough.
So 0.6 of a point would have got me in.
Oh man, that's wild.
But,
so let's talk about the turn-in area. It looked like it was the turn-ins were in the garage sections.
Yeah, so there was, and that was kind of one of the plus or minuses how you wanted to look at it. There's a big garage separating the 2 tent areas. So there was really kind of a disconnect between who was on one side and who was on the other side. You didn't get around to socialize. The garage was really nice for the judging because it was really well lit. There was no concern with lighting. They didn't have to bring in additional lighting. They had lights every 6 rows of lights every 6 feet. So
yeah,
it was really a good setup for judging. And we did steak selection in there. So that was a really, really good benefit to that.
That was the steaks.
The steaks were they were not bad. They weren't as good. They're definitely not what we're used to them Creekstones out here in Utah with the pit stop series, but they weren't bad. I was fortunate enough to get some pretty good steak draws, so
good.
I can't complain about my steaks at all.
Right.
Didn't we have some Utah guys do good in the steak category?
So for steak advancement, we had Johnny Cobia and Casey Casper, both advanced for Utah.
Nice.
For the West Coast, Chuck Loria and John Bolton, both advanced as well. So that was our 4 West Coast representatives in the steak.
Well, what do you think was the cause of that? I'm just curious. I'm just wondering, being a West Coast cook, because the last few years, the West Coast had a really strong presence. We're talking 10, 15 people from the West Coast doing it. Was it just because there wasn't that many people that showed up from the West Coast? What do you think it really was? There's no wrong answer here. It's just more or less just wondering.
I don't know. There was 3 of us that all took 11th, ticket verified on the picture.
Oh man.
I was 11th in my group. I was 2/10 away from advancing. Aaron Acker, he was also an 11th place, and then Kevin Barnes, who's made the finals, I think the last 2 years, he tied for 10th but lost the tiebreaker.
That's rough. That is rough.
So I mean, there was a lot of us that were. I mean, we were right there within a point of advancing on.
Yeah.
I just think, I just think that you got to realize you're competing against everyone else earned their way there, and they,
yeah, but
here against the best of the best.
So here's my counter, though. This is where I'm going to kind of counter, and I'm just throwing weird ideas out there. But the exact same cooks flipped it for. It used to be the Cowtown Classic. What's it called now? The Texas Motor Speedway.
The TMS Open, or
the TMS
whatever,
Open. You're still competing against the same cooks.
Yeah.
But then again, the West Coast walked us away with some top 10s from there. Do you think it's Do you think it's just the judging is more crucial, and it's a little bit more loose on the back end competition? Just what are some things that maybe process through your mind? There's no wrong answer. What I process through it is that I think the judges is heavier on the World Championship side.
Yeah, I know. I heard from a judge that, he said that he did notice a lot of foreign judges in the preliminary rounds judging steak, and I don't know how much opportunity they get to do judging. And I know there's not a limit on the preliminary rounds on how many contests you have to have judged in order to judge steaks.
Right.
I know when it comes to finals, they won't let you judge finals unless you're a prime judge.
Right.
But so, and he said that he thought maybe the foreign judges that he had seen on his table were a little harsher. But I don't know. The whole blue group actually really seemed – so they split it up into 2 colors this year instead of 3, a blue and a green group. And it seems like the blue group, the scores were a lot lower. Like in mine particular, 10th place was like a 246 up to first place being a 250. Wow. And in the green group, I know there was one that 10th place started over a 250.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big discrepancy in the judging scores as well.
Yeah, that's huge. And then, because when I judged, I didn't judge steak at Worlds. I judged ancillary, and it was literally, they're like, you just show up to the group and sit wherever you want. So there wasn't really like no rhyme or reason, but they made sure that it was evenly balanced between male, female, and also you weren't on the same table as somebody from your same city, town, or anything like that as well. So I feel like they do break that up, but it just all depends on which group you're going in as. If say like all of us Utah guys wanted to go in and judge, and we all like, let's go sign up for this group or that group, it's not like that. You draw a chip for your group. So I really feel
Yep.
like it is completely random. So sometimes they're just
Well, and yeah, and
the luck
it's
of the
not even
draw.
a guarantee. I know I talked to John Clark from Utah that judges. That's a prime judge, and he didn't even get the opportunity to judge steak on the first day. He didn't draw a steak chip.
Right.
So, however, I don't know the whole process and how they get to choose or whatnot, but it is very randomized for sure.
Literally, how you do it, it's just like steak selection. You put your hand in a bag and grab a chip.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. And then also for finals as well. All prime judges don't get the same shot to judge finals either. You literally have to put your hand in a bag and grab a chip. And if it comes out purple, you're doing finals.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, you're not judging finals. It's that cutter. It's
Yeah.
very random. And it's so when it comes to judging on the table, I just think sometimes, like I always said on the podcast, there's just that one table that hurts. It really can really hurt a lot of people. So, but
and they did change the format up a little this year too, to where all 3 finals were on Sunday. Ancillary finals, rib finals, and steak finals were all on Sunday.
That's a lot.
Whereas it's normally kind of staggered.
Well, that's a lot, because I've seen a lot of people that made all 3 finals. That's a lot of cooking in one day. That's pretty stressful. I prefer it the other way.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of broken
I know
up a little
Elizabeth
bit.
Lipa qualified in all 3. And she did. She cooked her butt off that day.
Yeah.
They did structure it out a lot different though. Like if you made finals, I think you had like a normal timeline, I think gives you 4 hours or so for a steak. Yeah. And I want to say finals gave you like 6 or 7 hours on your steak.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Just in case you had to do ancillary as well, you would have time to do your steak selection. And if you was cooking the open as well, they were back to back an hour apart. So you could really do everything and not overlap too terrible.
Right.
The rib turn-in was still at the very end of the day. It was the last turn-in of the day.
That's
so.
Nice. So the $1 million question is: would you prefer to do that venue again, or would you rather go to Will Rogers and with perfect weather?
As far as the venue itself, I liked it. I liked the concrete. It was real restrooms instead of porta potties.
All right.
So that was another big plus. I think if you take the wind out of it, I think it was a really good venue and a really good weekend,
Nice. So the only thing that you're maybe recommending is that everybody's on one side, that we can literally say hi to everybody, or
and it would be hard to. The other downside is Ken was telling me that Texas Motor Speedway doesn't allow them to do any vending, which is why. So B&B and Hasty Bake in the past have always done a bunch of food over live fire, and that's not allowed at this one because they have a contract with a vendor, a concessions vendor, and any food whatsoever has to go through them.
That's interesting because B&B and all those guys, that was always a great event.
Yep.
Speaking of food, how was the food for the banquet? Was it the same as always, or was it different?
No, it was different. So we used to have the whole thing at River Ranch there at the stockyards, and they when they rented all this, they was able to get the grand ballroom on top of at the very top of the Speedway Club.
Okay.
And so it was up there. So it was definitely different food. I did not hear very many good things about the food this year. I did not enjoy the food very much this year.
Interesting.
That's tough. You're at a food competition and they serve you not great.
They served us barbecue, and they served us ribs that I kind of feel like they were about 20 degrees under being done.
Oh no. Especially if you have a rib competition.
Got a jaw workout at least. You're a little gnawing on the bones, huh?
Yeah, my jaw needed a little. It had a good workout during dinner, and
How do you not cook ribs to the right temperature?
In Texas,
I don't know who catered. I know.
Oh man,
I don't know who catered it. I didn't hear very good things about the food though.
What about the alcohol? I know you're not a drinker, but was it Was it tight?
They had a
that way,
bar there. It wasn't like the first couple years that we ended up going. You know, I think me and you made it the same time the first time for World's 8.
Yeah.
Was our first year. The first couple years, you know, they did the wristband thing where you buy the wristband and it was open bar at that point, and it was, you know,
yeah,
from friends that do partake. They said it was very, very expensive.
Oh
no.
Man,
That's too
So-
bad.
wow. So competition setup is great. Hospitality is not so good.
Yep.
Got it. All right. And I know they said something at awards. I watched awards. They're gonna maybe make another change, but that's still kind of in the air.
Yeah, they said they was going to tell us about it, and then I mean, they were trying to get. It was getting dark, and they had one generator light station was the only lights they could get TMS to give them.
Jeez, wow.
So
that's it.
they were trying to hurry it along.
It's time to road show it. We gotta start bouncing around the nation. Just road show it. To start busting a World Foods and just start road showing it and going to different cities.
Let's go to Vegas.
Yeah, do Vegas and
Right.
somewhere in the Midwest.
Vegas is getting so expensive, though.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. Well, they got to
I was
pay for
looking
that
at
racetrack through their city.
Yeah, I was looking at
through downtown.
Yeah,
the price for the hotels for the Barbecue Vegas comp, and
yeah, it's wild.
they're expensive.
Even the Motel 6 is expensive at that weekend. I don't know what's going on that weekend. Something's up.
I don't know what else is going on that weekend, but it is outrageous.
Might have to stay in St. George and just make the drive.
Just stay in
Yeah.
Mesquite. Just
Right?
stay down in Mesquite.
Don't give people that idea on the podcast because that was my
Oh,
that was my real plan. I was trying to get them to stay in St. George.
Go stay in California. How's that?
Yeah, there we go.
Pahrump. Go down to
Yeah.
Pahrump.
Right. Well, we don't want to take too much more time, Brennan, but we'll have to do a real solid recap. Maybe we'll do a World's Roundtable or something along that line. But it was great to just be able to, just hear that side of it through people like me that was just watching through Facebook, just wondering what was really going on, what people are really thinking. So that kind of cleared up a little bit. So that's cool, and hopefully I'll be there next year.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
Yeah.
we're all down there, and we're like, I wonder where Anthony's setting up. And then we're like, did someone bring his stuff down? And then I finally text you, and nope, I'm not coming.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make some moves, trying to just make everything better, and I just want to continue to, enjoy life with my family versus, every weekend in a parking lot. But I'll still be there. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not as cooking as fierce.
Yeah.
So, well, cool. Thanks a lot for jumping on here, Brennan. It's short notice.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, and we'll get back around to it and have you on a full episode once you actually make finals. Oh, that's just a little
Heck
shot.
yeah, for sure. Once again, congrats to Karen
Yeah.
Wright, world champion for the year. Perfect score, another perfect champion. So
Exactly. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Cool. All righty, guys. Well, thanks for watching.
Hey, Brennan. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
thank you.